Hey everyone, welcome back to working with this utility knife design. In the last video, you saw how to create mechanical features with a sculpted body. Today, I'm going to talk about how to model with existing data sets or imported data sets that you already have that you want to import into an existing design to keep going. So I'm really gonna later on import a blade cradle and then start using the blade cradle to make the opening for the little toggle to push the blade in and out. We're gonna model the blade, and yeah, we're gonna go through all that in this video. So let's get started. So if I go over to my browser here, I'm gonna turn on my sketches and make sure all the sketches are on. And you'll notice that, yeah, we have a profile for the blade. We have some profiles for the finger trails, or aesthetic features at the handle. We're gonna concentrate on the blade, so we're gonna model the blade. Easy way to do that right now is let's turn off one of the bodies, the right side, or no, right, yeah, the right side body here, so I can better see the blade here. Now I'm just gonna click on the profile and then right click and go to extrude. This is gonna pull up the extrude command, and here I'm gonna set my distance to, actually before I set my distance, I'm gonna go to symmetric for my direction because I want the blade to be symmetric when I extrude it. And since it's symmetric, I'm going to change the distance to 0.5, which makes a total of a 1 millimeter thick blade. It's going to think that I want to cut again because it's contacting with another body, but I'm going to change the operation to new body, and then I'm going to say OK. And now we have our blade body. So before I do anything else, I'm actually going to make my cut with the left side handle here, because this part is kind of overlapping the handle. So going to modify, clicking on combine. The target body is going to be the handle. The tool body is going to be the blade. My operation is going to be a cut. This time I want to keep the tool because I need the blade, and I'm going to say OK. So now my body is cut and everything is just dandy. So now I want to make the cutting edge, and this is going to be a single cutting edge instead of a double cutting edge. So to do that, I'm actually going to sketch it. I'm going to go to look at in the navigation bar, and I want to look at this front surface of the blade dead on. So this will give me a good view of where to sketch and whatnot. So now I'm going to go to the line command and sketch. I'm going to click on that face as the plane I want to sketch on. And then I'm going to just pick a point along the left edge here, and then I'm going to drag it all the way down to the bottom right vertex. And then click, and then I'll have my line, and I'm going to stop sketch. So now I have my cutting edge sketch done, and what I want to do now is do a sweep along the bottom path, and we have the tool just for that. So if you go to create and select the sweep command, we're going to then select the profile, which is going to be the area you want to cut out. So this triangle, and then the path is going to be this bottom edge here. So if I click that, it's going to cut that whole part out. So perpendicular cut, yeah, that's what I want. Click OK, and now we have our cutting edge. So that's really how you would do it for the blade, and I think we're pretty set for the blade. Yeah. So now I'm going to leave that body off, and I'm going to turn the sketches off. Now what I'm going to do is insert a part that I downloaded from GrabCAD, and it's already a part pre-made of the blade cradle. I've already uploaded it to my account, so I'm going to go over to my data panel here, and you can see the blade cradle file right here. The way you would upload, just a quick summary, is you would hit the upload button. It will then ask you to select a file or drag a file here. Then you can just find it on your computer, and then you can click upload and it'll upload. So if you want to insert a design into your existing design, you just hover over to the data, the file, and click Insert. And now this is going to download the document from your account and insert it into the file, just like that. So the good news is I've positioned this data already before in a previous project to be right where I want it. So right now it's all positioned in the right place. I'm going to click OK. But if you ever needed to position that, you could have done it right there with those manipulators. But now I have my blade cradle. And now let's turn on the right side handle, and you can see now this toggle, the switch, in-out switch, is protruding, which is good. That's exactly what we want. But now we want to use the blade cradle to cut the opening of the switch. And this is where top-down modeling really comes in handy. So let's do that. Let's close the data panel for now, and let's zoom in a bit more so we know what we're looking at. And let's convert these three bodies, into components. So I'm going to select all three of them by holding down Shift, and then I'm going to right-click and say Create Component. So now these are all components. Now I'm going to rename these so I know exactly what I'm looking at. Blade Cradle is already renamed. This is the right handle. This is the blade. And this is the left handle. There we go. Yes. All right. So I'm actually going to hide the left handle so you can kind of see the internals of it. And it just works that my webs fit the cradle nicely. Now I'm going to since this is gonna be the open position, I'm going to go to construct and put a axis through the cylinder, through this the toggle cylinder here. And I'll tell you why I'm doing that later. I'm going to turn on construction so I can actually see it. There you go. So now we have an axis through that, and what I'm going to do is actually use a couple joints right now to define some of the position of my blade and cradle. So I'm going to hover over to assemble and go to as built joint. What this is going to do is it's just going to assemble the parts as is in the position that it is in. So first I'm going to do the blade and the cradle, and this type is going to be a rigid. So that gives you a little preview what that joint type is. I'm gonna click OK. And now I'm going to do another as-built joint, but this time I'm going to join the cradle with the handle, and this is going to be a slider instead of a rigid joint. And I'm going to use the bottom edge here of my web as the reference to where my cradle is going to slide. So if I click that, it's going to give you a preview of how my cradle is sliding, and yep, that's exactly what I want. I'm going to say OK. Now I can now move this cradle, but if I move it, it's not gonna be sliding the way I wanted. So before I move it, I'm actually gonna ground the handle, because then that will make sure that my handle isn't moving and everything else will move the way I want it to move. So let's go to my right handle in the browser, right click, and say ground. So now my handle is ground, and I can move now. If I click this switch, I can move this back and forth because based on the slider joint that we did. So let's do that again. Let's hover over. Rotate over here, and then let's see it on the inside. Great. So now let's make it go inward so that the blade isn't protruding. So let's just say like right here, right? I'd say like here would be the good place to have it not protrude. And now we have the cylinder still poking out, which is great. But we also have this snapshot position little icon that pops up because it recognized that I've just moved a component, and it's asking me if I want to take a snapshot of it or revert to my original. I'm actually going to take a snapshot of it because this is going to be my inward position, my blade in position, and I'm going to take a snapshot so it remembers in the timeline. And I'm going to put another axis through this cylinder. So axis through the cylinder, and click the cylinder. Now I have two axes. Not sure if you know where I'm going with this, but I'm actually going to use those two axes and project its position onto a sketch plane so I can sketch out the slot. So really, based off of the position of my switch, I can start modeling the opening slot for the on and off position, which is pretty neat. So let's do that. Let's go to Sketch and let's go to Project. Project include in the Project command, and we're going to, let's see, now we're going to hide the right handle and we're going to turn on the left handle. We're going to hide both handles. Let's just hide both handles. And we're going to project it onto the origin plane, this origin plane here. And again, if it's not selecting properly, you can either zoom in, zoom out, or you could do the click hold and choose from the option dialog. So I'm gonna hover over to my first axis here. You notice a little red dot, which means it's gonna project that dot onto the plane that I just chose. So I'm gonna click this one. Oh, I'm gonna click. Wait, what just happened here? Huh, it didn't project. Okay, let's try that again. Let's do stop sketch. Let's do stop sketch, and then let's do a project. This is going to be the plane I want to project on. This is not visible. Oh, okay. Didn't turn my no, my construction planes are on. Oh, okay. It's a sketch. That's right. Ha! There you go. All right, that. Now let's pick it for this. There you go. Okay, great. Now we have our 2 points. And sometimes, you know, those error messages help you a lot, like it just helped me. So now I'm going to create the 2 circles. I'm going to go to Sketch, Center, Diameter Circle. It's going to snap onto the point, which is great. I'm going to pick, this looks like to be, let's just give it a little more tolerance. So let's give it 6.2 millimeters. So that was there. 6.2 millimeters there, press enter, and then let's right click, repeat center diameter hole, and then another 6.2 millimeters here, enter, and now we have our 2 holes. Now we're going to hide the blade cradle so we see our holes, and then we're going to click line and make concentric lines connecting the 2 circles like that. Make sure you see that little circle pop up when you do it. You see that circle, and I see that circle, and now I have my concentric lines. Awesome. All right. So now let's stop sketch. Let's turn the right handle on, and let's swivel over here. Let's hide our blade. Actually, we don't want to be cutting our blade there, and let's select the holes profile, this profile, not this line, but this profile, and then let's see, this profile, and we're just going to do a cut. So press pull, all the way, and now we have our cut. And again, this cut is based off of the position of my cradle switch. So if we turn on our cradle, turn on our blade, turn on our left handle, and hide the sketch, you can see now that this was designed purely based off of the cradle. Let's hide our construction plane, and let's drag this outward like here. And what we can do now is actually make the cuts, the appropriate cuts to the opening. So let's do a snapshot. Let's do modify, combine. We're going to cut the right handle with the cradle. And then we're going to do a cut. We're going to keep the tool and say OK. And let's see. I think we got to do it for this side too. So let's do that again. Repeat. Target body is the left handle. Tool body is going to be the cradle. And then it's going to be a cut, keep tool, and OK. And yeah. Now we have a nicely put together and mechanically realistic utility knife cutter. Utility knife that now can be manufactured. Well, soon to be manufactured. It's not quite done yet, but can be. So there you have it. Hopefully that was really helpful for you to understand a bit more about how Fusion 360 can, how you can use Fusion 360 for top-down design. And again, if you needed to make changes to the size of the slot here, with where it is, it's all doable through the timeline. Go back to the feature that you needed to make a change, and then everything should update. So yeah. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Post a comment in the comment section. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Thanks.